Welcome back to Driftwood Conversations. I'm Hilary Sloan. In part 1, we traveled with Prema Saraswati from the mountains of Laos through the horrors of the secret war to the refugee camps. We heard how survival was not a single act, but a long passage, an inheritance of courage passed from mother to daughter, from ancestors to children. Today, in part 2, we step into the next chapters of her story, arriving in America as an 11-year-old girl in Sacramento, trying to learn English, working hard in school, while still carrying the weight of her family's survival. Prema shares how she navigated cultural dislocation, abusive relationships, single motherhood, and the hard climb through education and work. She also shares the extraordinary turn that carried her into spiritual practice and healing. What emerges is not just a biography, but a living map of resilience, how one woman transformed trauma into purpose, and how the wisdom of survival became a practice of love and healing for others. Okay, we're back. So, hi, Prema.
Hi.
You have an incredible story. Now, the story you've been telling me is how you came from Laos to here, to America.
Yes.
The struggles, the family, the lots of children, very different culture.
Yes.
You're about 11 years old. You're living in Sacramento. Your father's a farmer.
Not yet.
Go ahead.
So the positive story was that I was held back. I started school in the 2nd grade, and then I was held back in the 4th grade, which is a good thing because that allowed me to learn the language. And then by the time I was in the 5th grade, I was becoming a straight A student.
What was your favorite subject?
PE.
Sports.
I was really good at math, and I was really good at PE. I was really athletic, and so that really helped me. I was also really good at spelling. I was like number 1 or 2 in our class when it comes to spelling. English was still tough. I had limited vocabulary, so writing essay was the most challenging homework for me.
Did you have any dreams at that point? Well, I would say 11 or 12 we start to get asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? Did you have any idea?
No such thing even occurred. Keep in mind that even though we were safe in the U.S., we were away from the war, we were no longer starving, we were still in survival mode. New country, our parents still held on to the old culture, so assimilation was slow. We didn't get the kind of support we needed at home to do well in school and to do well in this society. Home life wasn't fun. So a dream and a goal wasn't talked about in our family. My sisters and I were pretty much bred to be a housewife who hopefully have a lot of boys for a husband. So we were taught, my 2 sisters and I have 2 older sisters. We did all the cooking and cleaning and the babysitting for the entire family. And so that's what we were bred for.
Do you have kids now?
I have 1 child, 1 boy. He's 29.
Wow.
My oldest brother, with his 1 wife, they had 16 children. I mean, that's a whole nother story.
Let me pause a moment to explain this part of Prema's story. Her brother raised 16 children with 1 wife. Her mother, too, gave birth to about the same number of children. But unlike her brother's steady life, Prema's father eventually left and started another family in Thailand. A loss that left the family devastated.
Because she gave her whole life to my dad. She worked really hard for him. So she gave birth to 15 children, 3 girls and 11 boys.
Wow.
And 4 died. And she even had twin boys. I mean, she hit the jackpot. And then she got abandoned by my dad. And he took most of the money that they have saved from their farming and started his new life. So my mom was devastated, suicidal, depressed, got diabetes, and she never recovered. Now, don't quote me on the years. We just realized that my math is not as sharp as it was when I was in elementary school. The story she said was that my dad married her when she was 14, and then she didn't start to have kids until she was 18.
Oh, my goodness. And yeah, it's a whole different culture.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think that the American mind can grasp this story.
Yeah, my mom gave birth to a child every year. She never had a break. And then on top of that, she worked really hard in the field.
You said her family was wealthy?
My parents were wealthy, according to what they told me. I didn't feel that we were wealthy. I didn't see that wealth, but they must have had enough money because they had the money to bribe these officials.
Right, and to get you out of the country.
My mom's side of the family, and my aunt is probably the first Hmong woman at her time to be educated, to have a college degree. My uncles were educated. And so, I would say they did well. They were not in the same situation, that we were. When they got to the U.S., they got jobs and they were able to fully support their families. They were not on welfare like us.
Now, by the time you were 11, 12, somewhere in there, you were in America, you were in Sacramento. That's the next part of your life, am I correct?
Yes. So we came to the U.S. in 1980. In 1982, we moved to Sacramento. That's where, the next chapter of my life, began.
Did you go to college?
I did. And as I mentioned earlier, I loved school.
I didn't get that. So good. You did.
Because school was a break from all the work at home. It's an opportunity for me to shine. And I guess I must have been smart enough because I was getting straight A's. I was excelling, even though English was still limited. I still have an accent, as you all can tell. However, I just worked really hard and there was no tutor. At some point I was tutoring my older brothers and sisters and I was writing essays for my sisters.
What did you study in college?
I wanted to become a doctor because early on I knew I wanted to help people. So I went pre-med and then discovered I was really bad in chemistry. I got a D, and I realized I am not going to med school. Plus, I didn't enjoy being in the lab 3 hours a day. So I changed my major to theater, and then I excel. Once I got my degree from theater, I came to USC Film School to study film.
It's interesting. Did you ever use it? Have you worked in the film industry?
After I graduated, I started working in some projects. At that time, I was married. I had a baby. My husband was abusive, and he wasn't working. So I had to get a job to support us. And so I put film production on hold to support my family.
What kind of work did you get?
I started off working in a media company selling TV commercials. I was an assistant. From there, I went to work for an advertising agency in Orange County. All these jobs were dead-end jobs that were not making the kind of money I need to really give my son, a good life. So I was looking for another job, another opportunity. So I started learning sales.
Where was your husband at this point?
He eventually left. And then I was a single mom with a 5-year-old boy with no family support, with no one. And so I was still in survival mode. Even after I got a degree, 2 degrees, I was barely making it paycheck to paycheck.
What were you both of the degrees in?
So the bachelor's was in theater, dramatic arts. The master's degree was in film production from USC Film School.
That must have been fun, though.
It was.
That's a great school. Okay, so what happened after that?
I want to say something about trauma and abuse. I grew up in a family where we were abused, with so many kids, not enough resources, not enough attention. So I went from one abusive family to another. And even though my husband at that time did not make any money, I was the one who was making the money. And he was abusing me physically, verbally. I remember around the O.J. Simpson trial, he would pin me against the door when I just wanted to leave for some air after a fight. And he would say, if you ever leave me, I'll be the next O.J. Simpson. And I have a little boy with no one to support me. So it was a very scary time. So even though I made all the money, I could not leave him because my self-esteem was so low. I was more concerned about his reputation than my well-being.
Was he American or?
No, he was actually my oldest brother's best friend. It wasn't until he started abusing my little boy that gave me the courage to ask him to leave. And remember, I was afraid because he said, if you ever leave me, I'll kill you. And so I was scared. But when he started hitting my son and yelling at him, that's when something clicked in my mind. I said, no, I will not allow this to happen. I can allow him to hit me, to abuse me. I could take it, but I would not allow my son to take it. I asked him to leave, and I thought he was going to put up a big fight, but he actually left. And then I became a single mom, and that's another chapter of the story.
Well, go ahead. So what took you from there to here to being a healer?
So I eventually married my current husband, and he was a really good father and provider, for my son and for us. So it was like around 2008, that's when I left the last corporate job, learning to do sales, and I realized that there's a lot of sales jobs that were just a rotating door. And then the reception hit, and I could not get a job. So during that time, also, back up a little bit, 2005, I was in a rare car accident where I was sandwiched at the light, and it really hurt my back. And my abilities, like I couldn't run anymore, I couldn't work out anymore, they were hurt. So I was looking for an alternative way to heal my back without going into surgery. In 5 years, from 2005 to 2010, I was in 5 rear-end car accidents.
5 cars?
5 within 5 years. The first one, I was sandwiched at a stoplight. This last one, I was also sandwiched at a stoplight. And so that journey to find a holistic way to heal my back led me to Reiki. And around this time, I couldn't get a job. I was getting little gigs here and there just to make some income. I learned Reiki in 2011. Got my Reiki master certification in beginning of 2012. And I decided, why don't I just open a business to offer Reiki? Because I absolutely loved Reiki and energy and the spiritual world. It's like Reiki opened me to the spiritual world. The first time I learned about energy, I learned about spirituality. Now, even though my dad is a shaman, I didn't learn spirituality. I didn't have much access or training in it. So I was pretty ignorant. So I opened my business to offer Reiki, and then I was introduced to hypnotherapy and absolutely loved it. I was introduced to past life regression from Dr. Brian Weiss's book, Many Lives, Many Masters. Just fell in love with it, just wanted more, and I eventually went back to school. At first, I was stubborn. I'm like, I lived in Orange County. The school, the Hypnosis Motivation Institute in Tarzana is, to me, the best school around here. And it's a 2-hour drive through LA traffic. I'm like, I am not driving through LA to go to this school. There's got to be something nearby. Well, there wasn't. So I went to school, driving from Orange County through LA to Tarzana, and just loved everything about it. So I'm always learning new ways to help clients, new ways to help myself. And then I also went and trained in neuro-linguistic programming. I got through the master level and just learning various different kinds of spiritual tools, spirituality. I'm always learning and growing. In this last couple of years, I completed 200 hours of Kundalini Yoga, and then I went to India for a month in 2025, which is this year, and spent a month learning the Himalayan style of Kundalini Yoga there. So that's a 300-hour certification. And as I grew spiritually, things just evolve.
You mentioned earlier that, or you mentioned to me, that you do meditation and chanting. Is that correct?
Yes. When I remember 1 year after I just graduated from USC Film School, and I was working, and I was so miserable, I thought that I would never be happy for the rest of my life. It was a really dark time. I felt so trapped that there's no way out. And I was looking for a spiritual practice that would help me to feel better. And then I was introduced to this branch of Buddhism, Nichiren Buddhism, and started chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and starting to feel more confident, starting to feel better. And 2 years after I started chanting, that's when I had the courage to ask the abusive husband to leave. And he actually left. And that really helped me to get through that dark time of my life. So that was the first, I would say, introduction to philosophy and spiritual practice. But it was more philosophy than spiritual, because I didn't really feel, the spiritual energy like I feel now.
How did that happen? How did you begin to feel that energy?
It started after Reiki. Everything began to open up. And 2012, a lot of people open up, and I opened up too. So I became more intuitive. Plus, with hypnosis, being hypnotized so many times, open up whatever it was that was closing off my intuition.
That's great. So you have a practice now, and you're working with people.
Yes.
And how do you begin working with them?
You mean the process?
Yeah.
I see clients privately. I also do public classes to help more people. My sessions are 90 minutes to 2.5 hours. And we start off with talking. They can vent about what's going on. They tell me what they want to work on. And then once I understand their goal and their background, then we go into hypnosis, where I guide them to go to the root cause of what's bothering them and guide them to release. I have a really good understanding of trauma and abuse because that was my life experience. And so I tend to attract people who had similar experience. And the tools that I use have been very effective in helping them to clear those traumas, those triggers. And I used to feel sorry for myself and thought, poor me, until I started working with other clients who had it worse. At least I had a loving family. My mom was very loving. We knew where we belonged. My dad did not abuse us. They protected us. So yeah, I am not afraid of people's trauma. I'm not afraid of their worst emotion. I say, bring it, whatever it is, no matter how scary it may seem to you or how bad it was. You can clear that out of your system, and I can guide you to do it because the tools that I use work.
That's great. And how do you feel now about your life? And you're living in the desert.
Living in the desert, I'm called to come here. I feel very privileged to not only escape the communist genocide, to be sponsored to the U.S., and to have the opportunity to not just get a bachelor's but a master's degree, and then to also escape an abusive relationship, raise my son with my current husband, and to have this opportunity now to really walk my path, to do my life's work. It's very fulfilling. Many of my Hmong peers, particularly the girls, did not have the opportunity that I have. So I feel very privileged, very fortunate. And of course, all of this is possible because of divine blessing. Humanly, we couldn't possibly do this. My work is very fulfilling. I do work long hours, and I don't mind it at all. I love seeing clients privately. I look forward to all my private appointments. I love the classes that I do. The clients who trust me enough to come and work with me, they just made such fast transformation. And it's like, this is what I'm here to do.
It's really beautiful. Where's your son now?
My son actually moved to Oregon.
Did he go to school? Is he set up?
So he got his bachelor's degree.
And what does he do?
He works at a credit union. And my son is just a wonderful young man who's very gentle and kind, and people love him. They love hanging around with him. So he's independent. He doesn't ask me for anything. I'm very fortunate. Just very fortunate.
Do you stay in touch with your brothers and sisters?
I do. Not often, but I get along with them. I can hang out with them. I can talk with them. We're not very close because I moved away since I was 18. And so we never got to develop like adult relationship that is close. But we're brothers and sisters, we're family, and I know they'll be there for me when I need them. And if they need me, I will be there for them.
What would you say to somebody who's coming out of trauma?
Find the best hypnotherapist and a psychologist or a psychiatrist and invest some time and money into healing. What I've learned by going through my own healing is that you don't have to be stuck in it. Yes, bad things happen. I'm really sorry. Bad, terrible things happen to so many of us. You're not alone. You don't have to be stuck there. You can actually heal very quickly. You don't have to go to years in therapy. With the right tools, you can heal quicker and you can enjoy your life. And when you heal, your life will naturally change positively.
Now, you talk a lot, or you've spoken of 2012.
Yes.
And that being a turning point.
Yes.
Well, I've also heard 2025 is a turning point.
Yes, it is. We're going through it now.
We're really going through it.
Yes.
So what do you, short of maybe if you feel qualified prediction, or how do you feel about this time? What do you see?
So this is a 9-year. It's a completion year, and I'm already feeling in my life things coming to completion. And this is also in my career cycle. My career cycle is 12 years. I just realized that a couple of years ago. It's a 12-year cycle. And this is my 13th year in business. So I just completed the 12-year cycle. So I'm starting a new cycle. And so those two combined, there are things that are being released, things that are being complete, and lots of new things coming, lots of exciting new things coming, new learning. I love learning. So, I can be a professional student if I didn't have to pay my bills. Learning new things, lots of new things I want to learn, and pacing myself. And I am rebranding my business. I'm doing more groups, wanting to help more people than just the clients who are able to come to see me one-on-one. So I'm doing more classes. I also just launched a youth coaching program for young adults ages 18 to 35 to help them to reach a burning goal, and also to give them the tools and the support for them to also transform as they are working on achieving their goal. And it's a 6-month program, and I don't charge anything for this program.
That's really wonderful.
And it just feels right. I have come to understand that I need to listen to the divine and just do what the divine told me to do. So I don't on my own decide to do anything, because it doesn't work. I can try. I can put money and time into it, and it's going to flop.
Yes, I know the feeling.
Yes. But when the divine gave me a directive, say, do this, and I say yes, it works beautifully. So this is one of those where even though I am not making money from this, every day it feels right. It just feels right. And there are 10 people in the program, and they are just so amazing. Each time I talk to them, like, yes, this is why I'm doing it, because they're so amazing. And they deserve the help. I didn't get help. In my 20s, I struggled. I found my way through the maze in the dark, kind of, And I see all these beautiful young people with big dreams, so much passion and compassion to help the world. And they're struggling because they just don't have the support that they need. And so my intention is to give them the support that I can give them, to help them to move along on their path, so it doesn't take them as long as it took me, because they are amazing people. And they're so loving and lovely and just so compassionate.
That's great.
And it's a movement. It's not just a one-time program. It's a movement, and I hope to get other coaches and therapists involved so we can serve more than just 10 people.
Oh, that's great. We're going to start wrapping this up, but how would somebody reach you?
Anyone who wants to contact me can go to my website, www.empoweredmindwellness.com. Empoweredmindwellness.com. You can also connect with me on Instagram, Prema Trauma Healer. Prema Trauma Healer.
Why don't you spell that for them?
PREMA T, like trillionaire, RAUMA Healer, HEALER.
.com.
That's my Instagram account.
Oh, so there's no .com in that. I'll take
No, Prema Trauma Healer is my Instagram account.
Okay, great. That's wonderful. Thank you. Is there anything we've gone over an hour, but I want to just anything you want to say to wrap up?
First, I want to thank you for this opportunity to just chat with you. I love this. Thank you to the listener for listening to this story. And the message I have is, I love this quote that says, pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. You don't have to suffer anymore. There is help. You can heal and be happier, be lighter, and really live the life of your dream. You can.
That's great.
Many of my clients have. You can.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's really just wonderful to hang out with you.
Listening to Prema Saraswati, we hear not just the story of one woman, but the echo of an entire people. The Hmong who were drawn into a secret war they did not choose, who fled their villages carrying children and little else, who endured jungles, hunger, and poison, and yet found ways to keep each other alive. From that crucible, Prema emerged, a survivor, yes, but also an inheritor of something deeper. The shamans of her ancestry, the herbal wisdom of her mother, the resilience of her people, all of it now moves through her hands and voice as she guides others to heal. Prema reminds us that even in the harshest conditions, there is a spiritual current that cannot be broken. Pain is inevitable, she tells us, but suffering is optional. And through love, courage, and the wisdom of those who came before us, we can return to ourselves and live fully again. You can find Prema's work at empoweredmindwellness.com or on Instagram as Prema Trauma Healer. And thank you for listening to Driftwood Conversations, where we hold space for these stories, weathered but unbroken, carrying the spirit of survival and transformation, like driftwood carried by the tides. Thank you for listening. This is Hillary Sloan, and this is Driftwood Conversations.